Review family, what's up? It's your boy Myrtus, Review Guy, back to bring you another video, and in this one I'm going to be covering the new Leif album entitled Loom Dream. This is a new short album by Leif, the electronic music producer, very elusive electronic music producer, who has actually been dropping music in the underground for, it's safe to say at this point, about 2 decades. Despite having a devoted fan base, he's pretty much been stuck in the underground for his entire career for the most part, and if you go back through Leif's discography, you will find out the fact that he does release quite a few EPs, quite a few albums, fairly regularly. We will get into why this album is so different, but all of his previous albums have had a completely different sound than this. I enjoy his experimentation quite a lot. I like his kind of bombastic take on genres such as IDM and wonky and house, but what I didn't really expect to see right around the corner was Leif going into an ambient album head first. And that's no exaggeration. Through these 6 tracks, through these 34 minutes, it's a pretty, cut and dry ambient album. But spoiler alert, it's a really good cut and dry ambient album. Seriously, I can find very little to complain about with this record. There are some sections of certain tracks that can take a little bit of time, a little bit of space to really build up the grace that they boast as compositions, but there's nothing that I can point at on this entire record that I can say is average, that is uninspired, that is boring or mundane. This record is just entirely understated, and it doesn't jump out at you and just say, this is what I am, this is what you're gonna get used to. It just engulfs you and swallows you into your own, existential universe where it just chokes you with its beauty and with its grace and with its atmosphere and then spits you out in the fetal position with no words to be said for what you just witnessed, to the point to where you just have to start it back over. Yarrow has the only section that I somewhat have a main problem with. For the first 2 minutes or so, you get grumbling and walking and kind of different background sounds over some very, very minimalist type of instrumentation. It's like faint talking and breathing all alongside this very gritty, just free-flowing ambience in the background. And I will say it has grown on me a little bit since I first heard it, but still, it does take a little bit of time to go into the main meat of the track. From the shimmering background noise to the electronica rings and dings finding itself across the track, as well as the simple percussion. It all has so much motion and so much push to it, and it uses simplicity and minimalism to create this broader picture with broader strokes, or at least smaller strokes making themselves into broader strokes. I just can't really put into words how well this track listing is assembled. It's watertight, and it's backed up by crystal clear production, and for the most part, I don't really like my records to sound so just groomed and so manufactured to the point to where it rips them of life. But to be honest, for an ambient album, for an electronica album, I see no issue with flawless production, and to say the least, this album has it. Borage is a bit more eerie, a little bit more ominous. It creates a lot of space. From the first minute, it just gives off this chilling atmosphere and rolling synths that are coming in and out of the composition very concisely, very smoothly. It just adds that extra punch, and then you get these gospel-esque, soul-esque, howled vocals throughout the track that just pop in and kind of consume the audio. The frequency of them are very loud. I wish that they maybe would have been toned down just a little bit in volume, because I think that sometimes it can just engulf everything else in the composition and just be so loudly mixed compared to everything else, but I can give it a slide just because of how few and far between they are and how weird they are and abstract they are when they do come in. The tracks Myrtus and Rosa are very good examples of how Leif incorporates solid background noise and background synth into his tracks that kind of drone along to just add this nice backing to what he's working with as is. These are just beautiful ambient tracks as is, but I think the background noise is honestly the standout. He's always able to add subtle but effective background noise and drones to just kind of apply more compositional finesse to whatever soundscapes he's trying to work with, which means that while he is just tossing different ideas, different synths, different loops into these tracks, there's always this nice backing to everything. Mimosa is just this truly amazing nature-type ambient piece. The feeling of this tropical rainforest is just so resonant, from the rushing waters in the background to the jungle-type drums and the twinkling chimes, as well as the synths that are decreasing and increasing. And I can't stress it enough, it's just mixed to such perfection that everything just sounds so punchy and so well made. And then you have the closer, Pteridium. And as I was listening to it, I was like, yeah, this is a pretty nice closer, I guess. It's a little bit underwhelming compared to the other tracks on the record, I guess, but it's pretty nice. He's kind of sticking the landing. Pretty basic compared to what we've heard so far, but then it just becomes a little bit more abrasive and a little bit more loud as it progresses through its fairly short length compared to some of the other tracks on the record. I wouldn't say overly noisy, but it definitely picks up the invigoration of the mood that the whole album has been, like, sheened in and caked in, the beauty and the minimalism and the simplicity, but still finding punch in it. It still captures that just initial beauty that the whole album encompasses. Yeah, it's a great ambient album. It's a great electronic album. This record is just adding to the massive stream of really nice electronic albums that have released this year. And if you like ambient, if you like electronic music, check this album out because it's not the norm from Leif, and I think this is a pretty nice gateway into his music because he has music that's so much different than this, but this could give you a nice stepping stone into what he really conjures on his records. I was highly impressed by this record. It's not reinventing the wheel, it doesn't jump out at you, and it's kind of something that you can just sink into, snap your finger, bop your head, because it's luscious, it's just invigorating, it's just like this massive canvas, this massive mural that he has just painted in front of you, and he just lets you have it and make your own interpretation of it. I'm going to be giving this album an 8.5 out of 10, and that is a wrap. Yeah, please stay for the end screen links and videos you might be interested in. Have you heard this new Leif record? If you have, let me know in the comment section below. I'd love to talk about this record with you. Like this video if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new here. I review on the regular, and I'll talk to you next time. Smash that notification bell to be notified of my future uploads. My name is Myrtus, Review Guy, and I'm signing off saying farewell.